I'm pushing up.
Rotate.
Bruno, they're rotating back. They're rotating back.
You're gonna go. Just rotate, guys. Just rotate. Give it up. Just give it up. All right. Guys, rotate.
Greetings and welcome to episode number 14 of The Rotation with Z-Hack. Guys, the Stage 3 Major is here. It is upon us, and it has been incredible so far. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in to The Rotation with Z-Hack. This past week was incredible, you guys. It was my birthday, the big 25. I had a great time, got to hang out with some family. And then yesterday, what's better than this? Getting to watch some Call of Duty, and on the highest stage, the largest pedestal that you can achieve, a major tournament. It doesn't get better than this, and we're excited to break it all down today, give the predictions, what's happened so far, react to it, as well as give some hot takes as per usual. So if you're looking for more of those, follow me on Twitter at ZHack16. And without further ado, let's get started. Right out of the gates, some first blood. I have to say that the 4-day schedule for Major 3, instead of starting on Wednesday, it is huge. It has made the biggest difference already from an entertainment perspective as far as the fans are concerned. And I think the players, as well as the broadcast team, are all enjoying it. Maybe not the people putting on the broadcast. You know what? Actually, I've been on that side of it. I've been on the crew. I've been on the production side, technical director, audio, replay, everything that you can think of. We love it. It may be a long day, but it's incredible. So instead of having, just 2 matches or 3 matches on the day, we come out swinging with the Stage 3 Major, and we get 4 games on the first day, which was yesterday, Thursday. I'm recording this episode on Friday. Hopefully, we'll get it out before the matches that start today. But it has made a great difference from a viewer's perspective to see 4 matches in one day. You're able to stay engaged the whole time. The storylines are building. The broadcast crew and the team are getting hype and excited, and everyone is feeding off of each other's energy, to whereas the counterpart of this, when we've just had 2 matches or 3 matches in a day, if it's a hot 3-0 or a fast 3-1, there's not a lot that goes on. Especially if you think about it like this. If kids are going to their school saying, yo, you play Call of Duty, right? The Stage 3 Major is this weekend. Like, it's going to be incredible. It's a major tournament. There's $200,000 on the line, and the competition is at its peak. This is the best of the best, the creme de la creme, going at one another. If you tell somebody that, and then they come to tune in to the Stage 3 Major as you recommend that to them, and they get like 2 3-0s, they're going to be like, oh, that wasn't that entertaining. And then you could lose a fan of the CDL. We can't have that happening. We want to provide the best of the best to all of our fans, the best competition to our players, and give our broadcast team the greatest possibility to succeed in what they're doing, which is providing entertainment and great matches and commentary to the fans. I think we've done an incredible job with it as the year begun. But the best part about everything that the CDL has done is they listened to the players, they listened to the fans, they listened to the owners, and adapted. And they said, okay, you guys don't like the format, you think we need to play more games? Here you go. Because this helps the players out too as we get further on in the Stage 3 Major tournament. Because instead of just playing 1 match a day, when we get to day 3 on Saturday, when you're in the nitty-gritty and you're going from the winner's bracket to loser's bracket, you'll get to play multiple matches in a day to keep your tournament alive, to keep battling and fighting at your hopes to win the Stage 3 Major. So you're not just going to be logging on from your bedroom, grabbing your Scuff Impact, and going, yeah, hold on, guys. Let me put some gamer grip on real quick. Okay, what is this? Winners round 4 today? All right, let's hope we have the energy. That's not going to cut it for a major tournament. And if you get to play multiple matches in a day, you get to say, all right, boys, let's go on a run. Let's win this round 1, and then we'll meet someone in the winner's final after this later on today. And if you lose that first match, you go, hey, we're still alive. We just got warmed up in that match. Let's keep shooting bots and get into this next one because we're playing 2 today. Let's make a loser's bracket run. The format is better for everyone. It's better for the fans, it's better for the players, and it's better for the broadcast team. Give us all the matches in the same day. I know it's not possible. I'm just joking. But the more, the merrier in this situation. You give players the opportunity to stay hot and play multiple matches in a day. You give fans the entertainment. Maybe they can watch their team play twice in a day. If not, they get to see great competition all day long for 6 hours instead of 2 hours. And the broadcast team, we know they love it. We know Miles likes to sling out his silly punchlines. Merc and Maven like to get crazy with each other and show off the bromance. And Studdy and Lando, they get after it with the intelligence. Everyone loves it. Let's continue to keep this format going and maybe adopt it into some regular season matches as well. That's my first blood take on the format and how we've been blessed and how the Call of Duty League has responded well to our feedback, and a good job on you. Now let's move forward and get into it. The Barracks news and notes from around the league. There's a lot of storylines to talk about as we continue to proceed with the Stage 3 Major, but there was some big news announced yesterday, and it was something that I talked about on the last episode of The Rotation with Z-Hack. Guys, I'm starting to worry here. I'm starting to think that I have some sort of power in my mind where I can predict things that are happening in the Call of Duty League. Because on the last podcast, you can go back and watch it on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, The Rotation with Z-Hack. I said that I live in Arizona and sports betting has now been legalized in Arizona. We can do all the daily fantasy on DraftKings now. We can go to the casino. We have sports books there. We can lay down money. And I challenged all the casinos and betting sites, get involved with the Call of Duty League, baby. This is a growing franchise that's only going to get bigger and bigger for years to come. There is so much money to be made here and so much entertainment for viewers like myself to be able to throw down $50 every week and say, I'm going to parlay these 3 matches throughout the Call of Duty week. And also, I'm going to pick a prop bet and say, I'll take Arcees to have over 52 kills in Respawn this week on Hardpoint. How fun is that? You get to invest so much more in the game, like Caesar Skies Bueno. I love that commercial. I'm Caesar Skies Bueno, and I chose to invest in my game. But you, as a fan, when betting is allowed, can invest in the games differently. To whereas if I'm just a Seattle Surge fan or an OpTic fan or a Thieves fan, an Empire fan, I watch our one match, we win. All right, let's go. We did it. Sure, that's exciting. But if I'm betting on the other 4 matches that day and I'm betting on certain players to pick up certain amount of kills, bomb plants, whatever the prop bet may be that I elect to put my bank account on, you better believe I'm leaning into my chair and I am paying attention to every single thing that happens on the map, every single match. It brings so much more entertainment to the fans to be able to bet. And where I was going with this in the Barracks news and notes from around the league, we saw the announcement yesterday. The London Royal Ravens have announced a sponsorship with Midnight. That is incredible. If you guys don't know, I'll pull it up right now. But Midnight is a betting site over, and it's really popular in the EU. And it's what everybody uses. If you see guys betting on Twitter and what they're saying, that's where they're making their bets a majority of the time is on Midnight. So the London Royal Ravens have announced a sponsorship with them, and that's absolutely gigantic in the Call of Duty scene because that just means there's more and more to come. We already know the New York Subliners on their jerseys right here, on their shirts. They wear duct tape every match, and you guys may be like, why are they wearing duct tape every single match? It's because on that spot there, DraftKings is on their shirt, and the Call of Duty League, until now, have not allowed betting or alcohol sponsors, but that has all changed. So let's take a look here and get you guys over to the screen with what happened. So the London Royal Ravens on Twitter announced, they say, we are proud to announce Midnight as the newest sponsor of the London Royal Ravens. The London-based esports betting operator is a dedicated esports and betting platform where gamers reign. 18 and older, so that's big too, because it's 21 and older in the United States. So the crossover there, it can get a little interesting. But 18 and older, please bet responsibly. And then let's go ahead and open this link and take a peek at the sponsorship and the announcement here. So look at this. everything is so simple with Midnight, and look at all these games. You can bet on Warzone wagers, League of Legends, CSGO. Look at all these games that you have at your fingertips, and they support Visa, PayPal, MasterCard, Trustly. Like, it's incredible. And for those of you who have not looked at it before, let's go ahead and just try and get to the main site here. I'm trying to work around it. Let's see if we can go here without joining. So when you get here, everything is so simple for you. The odds are all placed out and laid out for you, and we can go here, get over to Call of Duty, and the majors will all be here today. So you take a look at all these matches today, and you can see the Minnesota Rocker, they're a favorite over the London Royal Ravens. OpTic Chicago are a big favorite over LAG, Atlanta FaZe. That one is going to be tight there. That one is extremely tight. And then you have the Florida Mutineers and New York Subliners. I don't know if I agree with these odds here. I might lay down big on Toronto Ultra, you know what I'm saying? But just to show you guys how it works, when you take a look at this, we'll take the London Royal Ravens series just for fun, you know, and we'll give them the benefit of the doubt and choose them, even though I think I'm taking the Rocker in this match. But we're promoting their new sponsor. So let's say we'll take the London Royal Ravens. We want to throw down, just so you guys can see how odds work, you put down 10 on them. They have a 1.88 return there. So the return, if you throw 10 down, you get 1880 in return. So that's why it's different here, because this isn't like traditional betting where it's like, oh, if you pick a favorite, you're not making any money. They have the odds and the multiplier of what you would be making if you were to bet on this team. So if I threw $100 on the Minnesota Rocker, the return would be 170. Let me get back here to this screen so you guys can see this. But right there, the 1.77 is the multiplier. So I threw 100 down on the Minnesota Rocker. The return is 177 if they win. It's as simple as that. And then you can look at all sorts of different stuff here. When you can go to different bettings and results and see what you have in the past. And then on top of this, when you go into the matches, there's different times where you can expand details and go players and this and that and have a bunch of different stuff to go over. So you have the match winner. You can bet on the handicap. You can bet on each map. You can bet on matches played. You can put down on the score if you think it's going to be a hot 3-0. Look how much that pays off. So the site here from Midnight, it's incredible, and it's just awesome to see the sponsorship occur between the London Royal Ravens and Midnight. So congratulations to them, shout out to them, and I think that this is just paving the way for what's to come. This is absolutely huge. It's monumental as far as Pick'em goes, because I know everyone's filling out their brackets throughout the year, and yeah, there's some return on that. If you're top 20, you could get an Astro headset, one of these bad boys right here, a Scuff Impact, or guess what? One of these guys here, another Scuff Impact. Guys, I love Scuff Gaming. I have so many of their controllers, and I swear by their product. It's incredible. I hope they throw a Gamer Grip packet into the Pick'em soon. But you can get the Astro headset, the team pack. They give COD points where you can buy team packs and everything like that in the store. So I know there's some return there, but the odds of you hitting, it's really hard. There's tens and hundreds of thousands of people who fill out Pick'em every single stage. So the odds there, you got to be pretty much perfect to be able to win something. To whereas when you go to these sites, it's huge for Pick'em because you can lay down every single match. And you can make 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks just by your intuition. I went 3 for 4 yesterday in Pick'em, as we'll break that down shortly. I would have made like $100 yesterday if I threw that down on a betting site. So it allows you to invest more and it allows you to enjoy the matches more. Other than that, I hope we see Fantasy Call of Duty skyrocket, because I know we've seen Draft Buff. Those guys over there are doing a great job, but it just hasn't taken off to its full potential, in my opinion, yet. When you see America and the States and everything like that, fantasy football is huge. You have millions of people who play fantasy football every single year. And you have people who get paid to do podcasts like this on fantasy experts, which, hint, hint, new segment at the end of the show. But these guys are paid to say, you know what, this week I go to the waiver wire, I pick up Will Fuller because no one drafted him in your 10-man league. I think he's going to have a huge showing. And then you put in that prediction, you get some credibility. Will Fuller goes for 100 yards and a touchdown, and people are like, whoa, I got to start listening to this guy and his predictions. So I think this is just paving the way. The London Royal Ravens partnership, sponsorship with Midnight is huge because it will allow fantasy Call of Duty to grow, Pick'em to grow, as we gain age in the audience, as it becomes relevant to betting, as we get 18, 21-year-olds invested in the Call of Duty League, betting is just going to increase. You're going to have 12-man fantasy Call of Duty rosters. They're going to have their draft party with their chips, nachos, watching the previous COD champs in the background while they're making their picks, just like we do with fantasy football. You have a draft party, you hang out with your friends, you drink beer, you have a bet where your guy who comes in last place in your league every year has to get a tattoo or something. We're headed that way in Call of Duty, and I'm so excited for it. This is allowing us to kind of follow the major sports leagues. When we have LAN events introduced, this is something that I want you guys to ponder. With betting becoming more and more legalized from state to state, from league to league in traditional sports, they're allowing sports books to be on site at the stadium. I can head right down the road 3 miles to Chase Field where the Arizona Diamondbacks play, and they will have a sports book there. As I arrive to the game, I can say, you know what, I got $50 here. I'm going to put 25 on the D-backs to win, and then I'm going to put another 25 on the first pitch of the game being a strike. Imagine when we get back on land for Call of Duty and we can do stuff like that. If we have pop-up sports books at every home series, you know Hex is going to do that. You know Hastro would do that. These team owners would be stupid not to have something like that at their home event. So they have a pop-up sports book. The line is going to be out the door. Everyone's going to be waving their money and credit card. Like the meme, take my money, take my money. Bang, 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 bang. Take it, take it. Everyone's going to be there saying, you know what? I bet $50 that the Atlanta FaZe win this tournament. $50 that OpTic win this tournament. I bet you that Huke is the player with the highest KD in the entire tournament. I'm going to put another 25 on that. And Kenny gets the most kills out of everyone through this tournament. Imagine how much more excitement, perspective, and just overall entertainment value that adds. I buy my VIP ticket to go to a LAN home series. I get there, I can have some drinks at the VIP lounge, and then I get to bet on the matches and enjoy my weekend like that. We're headed in the right direction with betting, and I think that the Call of Duty League is coming closer and closer and closer to being comparable to the 4 major sports in the world. It's a beautiful thing to watch the league grow and have sponsorships and stuff like this come out of the woodwork and be introduced and announced. The other thing, and the one that I'm going to hit on really quick that we've been hinted at, is there have been leaks to indicate that alcohol sponsors will become available too shortly to teams, players, everyone who you look at. That's incredible. If you get all these seltzers, you know, White Claw and Truly and all these people, Twisted Tea, you've seen a lot of big streamers get sponsored by them. If those all come out and can start being the sponsor of teams, that's going to be incredible because fans are going to want to drink that. The teams and players are going to be able to make money off that. And we're just getting closer and closer to becoming normalized, like I've said time and time again, with major sports like the NFL, NBA, MLB, soccer around the world, the NHL. We're a couple steps away from being comparable to them. It is absolutely incredible. I love that gambling is now becoming, you know, closer and closer to being normalized, legalized all the way around to where we can do it in esports. It's becoming a lot of fun for the fans, and I think sponsorships like this are going to become more prominent throughout the Call of Duty League. Now that we've talked about that, gotten that out of the way, we got to put our serious face on and talk about some stuff that happened heading into the Stage 3 Major. And I'm going back to the final week of Stage 3. And guys, oh boy. I mean, Twitter was blowing up. The world was on fire, it felt like. I'm talking about the OpTic versus FaZe final match as they headed in to the Stage 3 Major. Because number one, seeding was on the line here, so this becomes more important. I'm talking about the fact that the server was picked incorrectly in this match that the teams played on. You know the guys from OpTic are in Texas. FaZe are kind of scattered there. I think they're all playing together. I don't know if it's in Atlanta or where they're actually located. But what happened is they were supposed to be playing on a different server that was neutral to the two teams, and it got picked incorrectly to be one basically in the Atlanta FaZe backyard. Now, I'm not going to come out and say anything crazy because look me in the eyes right now and listen to me. The Atlanta FaZe were winning that series regardless if we were on a Texas server, if we were on their server, or if we were on LAN. OpTic have been going through some bumps right now. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying they're terrible. But the Atlanta FaZe at that time were the better team in that series. Things could have been different. Definitely. Yes, absolutely. But I still think the Atlanta FaZe win regardless. However, it is unacceptable for this to happen from a league operation standpoint. To get teams playing on an incorrect server than what was previously selected, giving an advantage to one of the teams, we got to be better than that. We're a multi-million-dollar franchise league. We cannot have that happen. We cannot have a neutral server picked between OpTic, who are in Texas, and FaZe, who are over here, and have the server be right in the Atlanta FaZe backyard. And I'm going to break it down to you. And all of you who don't follow the Call of Duty League and don't understand this, I'm going to break it down to you in simple sports terms. At the end of the day, it came out the information that OpTic were playing on 30 ping and the Atlanta FaZe were somewhere around 11 ping. A lot of you are going to be like, what does that even mean? That's a 19 millisecond difference in the response. And you'll say, oh, 19 milliseconds. These guys, as professionals in the Call of Duty League, that means the world to them. They can feel that difference. And especially when we're in an online format right now, you need things to be as even as possible on a level playing field. I'll break it down to you like this. It's as if in the NFL, a wide receiver, he makes the break on his post route a split second too soon, it results in an incomplete pass because the timing is off between himself and the quarterback. If he makes that break at the correct time a split second later, it's a 75-yard touchdown. It's the same thing with ping and the response time in the Call of Duty League. 30 versus 11 is right here. 11, I see you first. I get the first shot off. You're dead quicker. I have the advantage in just about every single gunfight because I'm on this server that gives me 11 ping and you 30 ping. I hope as I broke it down in the NFL perspective right there, you can wrap your head around it and understand how big of an issue and how big of a problem this absolutely is. It is ridiculous what happened and that this snuck through the cracks. It can't happen. I know we're getting back to LAN for the major next stage, but we're still playing online a little longer. This absolutely cannot happen from a league operation perspective. It put the guys from OpTic at a disadvantage as they're battling. It was the difference from them starting in the winner's bracket and starting in the loser's bracket. That is huge. That's like going into the playoffs in the NBA or the NFL, whatever it may be, and getting a bye week, let's say, in the NFL. Everyone else is playing a playoff match in that first week of the playoffs. You're sitting at home, kicking up the legs, relaxing your body, and recovering. In the Call of Duty League, if OpTic would have won with a certain map count in that series against Atlanta FaZe, they would have been in the winner's bracket. Which means they could have another map to afford to lose. You lose your match in the winner's bracket, you jump down to the loser's bracket, you can still make a run there. But instead, they didn't even have a fair shot to win the series. And now they're starting in the loser's bracket. If they lose one match, their tournament's over. Their hopes of winning $200,000 in the major, sayonara, out the window. I'm just saying it's a big deal. We can't make that mistake. I also said it at the beginning of this take. I think the Atlanta FaZe are still winning that series regardless of what happens. They're the better team. OpTic have been struggling, but regardless, the situation like that cannot happen. You cannot have the players in a disadvantage when we're already at some disadvantage on an online league. We're going to move on past that. We're over it. It's not happening again. And now let's get into the nitty-gritty. It's Friday. We got matches to talk about, so let's break it down, pull up the pick'em, and get into my predictions. We'll see what I did yesterday, the one that set me off, man. I'll tell you right now. Atlanta FaZe, I had them beating Empire 3 maps to 1. It was a hot 3-0. I did good there. Down to the elimination. I had the 3-1 of LA over the Seattle Surge. That was pretty much guaranteed, and there it is. London Royal Ravens, I thought they were going to come out and spank the Paris Legion with a hot 3-0. It ended up being a 3-1. They still looked really good. And let's give credit to the London Royal Ravens. They had gone through so many roster changes at the beginning of the year. They had Haggy on the team, for God's sake. And then they finally have clicked now with the roster. They have Paul X, Zaptius, Zed. Those guys look so good with one another. This London Royal Ravens team, they have battled adversity, fought through thick and thin, and are now starting to show signs of hope. I like what I see a lot from those guys. So they had a big match against Paris, and I think all this was pretty predictable on day one, except for the one match that we're going to go over here in circle. Guys, I didn't put my bracket in until about an hour before it had to be due. And about 95% of that reason was because I had this series 3-2 both ways like every 5 minutes. I picked Florida to win 3-2. Then I would go, I'd get a snack, I ate some breakfast, watch some TV. Then I would come back to my computer and I'd go, "Grr! I just think LA Thieves are going to win it." And then I would go walk around, go to the bathroom, let my dog out, play some ball with Murph. Then I'd come back in and I'd say, nah, no, I think Florida can do it. They've been playing so good lately. And I finally switched it to the LA Thieves and I screwed myself. Regardless, this was an incredible series. This was some fun Call of Duty to watch. These teams battled back and forth, and these maps were all incredibly tight, and we can take a look at it right here. It's a 3-1 overall, you see that, but look at the scoreline here. The checkmate hardpoint, LA Thieves were frying. Through the first set of rotations, it looked like LA Thieves were going to 3-0 Florida. It was like, oh man, they played that first set of rotations in hardpoint flawlessly. They were slaying out, and then Florida just turned up. They got into their groove. They figured out what they did wrong on the first set of hills, and then they just outslayed from there on out. You look at Big Nep, man. He was the difference maker in the series. He picked up crucial kills in multiple situations. He had a big spot there in the checkmate hardpoint to help win the break into P2 to win the match. And then we all see it in the Express S&D on the A-bomb site. We go round 11. It's a 1v2. LA Thieves double chow, and Neptune fries them both. I mean, it's incredible. Skies was there too. And everything just happened so fast. It was one of those split-second plays. But Neptune, he went big when he needed to. He picked up the ace in round 11. And the rookie, he's looking like a veteran in this stage of the major. I think that Florida are one of the most dangerous teams and one of the underdogs who can make a run as we head into the weekend of the Stage 3 major. After that big spot there, we go into the control on checkmate, and it was a huge comeback for the LA Thieves. They responded well here. It looked great. And then just that final rotation into P3 on Moscow, that's where they just couldn't do it. There were a couple of things for the LA Thieves. First of all, some of the slaying on the maps, they fell short, plain and simple. Other than that, there were a few one-on-one engagements that they lost. And yes, some of those one-on-ones could be highlighted as the pivotal spot in a map. But there was a lot more to the reason that they lost these maps. There were a couple of rotations that they misplayed and mishandled. There were some positioning errors, some trade things that went on, and I think JCap has addressed that and will address that with the team. And let's take a second to talk about Cap for a second, because he was hot yesterday. And he was on the timeline, and he was pissed off at pretty much everyone. I get it. You lose, and you don't know. Because the LA Thieves, plain and simple, they're catching a lot of flack because they benched TJ. They beat OpTic 3. They just smoke OpTic. I think it was 3-1 with TJ. And then that following week, they pick up Hugh, put him in the lineup, and they haven't won a series since. Obviously, there's going to be some growing pains when you pick up someone new, fit them into your system. But the kind of player Hugh is, you have to do that. I talked about it already. You guys can go watch previous podcasts to see that. But right here is what JCap said. Man, some of the takes I read about COD make me feel like people don't actually watch or just don't understand what they're watching. Then the comments were crazy. It was nuts. Then he goes to say, let me say this more clearly while I'm annoyed. Our series was determined by 51 points total in the hard points, a round 11 in the S&D, and the round 5 in the control. It could have gone either way, is what I said. And he says, if you watch a series like that and think a few one-on-one gunfights is ever why the team lost, you simply don't understand, and you should block me. And I agree. From a fan's perspective, you see Neptune in the round 11 and win that with the two-piece in the S&D on Express, and it's like, wow. All right, there it is. That one-on-one won them the series. But look at the scoreline. I think LA were up 3-0 in that series, and then they gave back 3 in a row to let Florida in it. So there's little things they could have done every round to adjust and win that map quicker. In the Checkmate Hardpoint, they really struggled between the rotation of P4 and P5. That's when Florida came back and picked up a lot of time. LA Thieves were great in P1 in the plane. They lost a couple rotations, P2 through P5. I think, in my perspective, those are the things that JCap is highlighting. But from a fan watching it, they're just looking at the kill feed, and they're new fans. Maybe they haven't watched it. They haven't played on a competitive stage, competitive level. They're just watching the kill feed. They see that someone is not performing and not positive in the KD, and they say, oh, that's the reason right there. There's a lot of different things that happen. There's positioning that happen. There's a lot of kills that aren't picked up on rotation, and there's a lot of spots and lanes that are given up at times that they shouldn't be given up, and spawns aren't forced the correct way that they're trying to force them. Those are the situations that make the biggest difference. JCap is very vocal on Twitter. He always has been. He's always voiced his opinion, and I respect him for it. I understand why he's upset, why he's grouchy, but at the end of the day, I give the credit to the Florida Mutineers. They played a great series. They looked incredible. They looked strong. And like I said, this team can make some noise as the major progresses. They just keep getting better and better from week to week as every match goes on. It's special. Havoc as the route man, he's made a big difference. He hasn't been there huge in the kill department, but he's run those routes, he's picked up the flank, and he's opened things up and allowed Skies to slay out and Neptune to take the slaying role in sort of that flex position. Selflessness is the motto for the Florida Mutineers. They're doing everything correct, and it's paying off big time. It feels like they're just growing stronger and stronger. As every series goes on, they're looking at themselves and they're like, oh man, we're just getting bigger and bigger. We're more confident, baby. Let's go. We're ready to fry. And they do it on the biggest stage possible in winners round 1 against the LA Thieves. I like this Florida team a lot, man. As we progress and talk about what happens here, we'll get into the elimination round 2 and winners round 2. But one more thing. The LA Thieves, I really thought Kenny was going to slay out huge there for him. He's the guy that I look at, and I think he'll step up as they're in the losers bracket. Because I thought he was going to fry. I thought he was going to drop like a 1.2 in that series. I really did. Everyone's going to come back, though, and they're going to battle. Huke didn't look bad. Venom, Draza, Kenny. I think Kenny, he'll feel like in his performance, he underperformed. He'll think. He's going to pop off. Be afraid of Kenny. Let's talk about these predictions and run through them real quick. We're already 35 minutes deep in this episode, and I'm loving it. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll start here. Like I mentioned, I think the adjustments that the London Royal Ravens have made throughout the stage and into where we are now, they've looked really good. I think the difference maker in this series for the Minnesota Rocker is Priesta. I think he has his A game going on. I think he's going to shine. He's going to take over this series for the Minnesota Rocker, and everyone else is just going to do what they need to. I have Priesta making huge plays throughout every map, and Minnesota taking this one 3-2 over London. Listen, it's going to be the battle between, I think, Priesta. He's going to see Paul X a lot on the map. He's going to see Zaptius a lot on the map. Those two rookies are going to go against Priesta big time. Standy is going to be the rock. That's the recipe and formula for Minnesota. Standy is going to be the flashy one, the playmaker, and the consistent guy, to where Priesta, he's going to settle in, be a veteran, and come up in clutch spots. That's what I see happening in this series. 3-2 Minnesota take it. I had LAG and OpTic in this one, and that's what the match actually is for today. I think OpTic are going to come out pissed off. I think they're going to come out absolutely tilted. They're going to be able to regain for this one match, but I think when they face a stiff competition, they may falter a little bit. I have OpTic with a 3-0 over the Gorillas, but as you guys know, the bracket had to be locked before the tournament started. Despite the fact that the Gorillas played Seattle, who are the worst team in the league, LAG looked really good. Like, Chino was hype. App was hype. These guys, they're ready. They're ready to rise to the occasion. So LAG could make some waves, but I have OpTic 3-0 in this. Then we'll hop into the winners round 2. I think it's going to be two good matches. I think the Toronto Ultra, they haven't proven me wrong yet. I mean, they've won every match in this series, dating all the way back to the losers bracket run that they made to win the Stage 2 major. I think they pick up where they left off. They stay consistent. They beat FaZe 3-1, but the Atlanta FaZe, they've turned it on. They look good. They're going to be out for blood, make the adjustments. This one could honestly go 3-2. The next one you see is NYSL versus the Florida Mutineers. Don't look at my screen here. Sorry, guys. I had that all covered there with my beautiful face. So it's going to be Florida versus NYSL. I said Florida's turning up, but NYSL, man. I mean, Hydra has just been playing out of his mind. Clay is ready to rise to the occasion. They had a disappointing performance last major. I think they turn up on the big stage. NYSL, I think I'll keep the scoreline the same. They'll take it 3-1 over the Mutineers. Havoc's going to have to pick it up in the slaying category in this series because you know what you're going to get out of Neptune? Big Wake and Skies. 3-1 NYSL. Then as we get into Saturday, we got 4 losers bracket matches. So let's make sure this is all correct. So Dallas lost that one. They're headed here to take on OpTic. I don't really know. Dallas did not look good at all. I mean, I know they're playing FaZe, but they didn't look great in that match against FaZe. I still think that the adjustments they make will outweigh the problems that OpTic have been having. And this is where I was looking for it. I was really hoping for a big elimination match. Huke and his former team, we're not going to get it anymore, unfortunately, guys, because LA Thieves didn't win their opening match in the winners round. Regardless, as we look at this, I think Empire take it 3-2 over OpTic. Then down here, this is going to be the LA Thieves. This is going to be the Florida Mutineers. So LA Thieves versus Minnesota Rocker, that's going to be tight, man. Holy cow. I don't even want to pick that series. I think just for my bracket's sake and to keep it the same, I'll keep it how I have it for you guys. Because I think it'll be just as tight as it would have been if Florida was there. And I don't know if LA Thieves will be able to get through the growing pains yet after losing that. That's the difference. If they win that winners round 1 against Florida, they feel confident in their roster. They say, all right, Huke was the right decision. We're going to start frying. Now I don't know. So I think Minnesota can end their Stage 3 major 0-2. And the same thing, Priesta and Standy are the guys to look at. You seek performances from accuracy and attach to be the rock and the foundation for the roster and let Priesta and Standy fry. That's the recipe for success for Minnesota. Bumping over here now, you have this one. I'm gonna change up now. It's gonna be Florida versus Empire. Florida are gonna win that. The Mutineers will win that 3-2 or 3-1 over Dallas. I believe it. Florida look really good in S&D. That's Havoc's bread and butter. That's where he can help you succeed in a series. So I think that's the situation at hand. I think Florida continue to impress, and they take the series over the Empire. Then down here, I think this is where the major comes to an end for Minnesota. Atlanta FaZe, they're too good right now. They're out for blood. They're going to go on a little bit of a loser's bracket run, and they're going to come out swinging. They'll beat Minnesota 3-1. I think Arcides and Celium will be the difference maker. You guys look at the Tiny Terrors, Simp and Abizi. We do all the time because they're so good. But I think this one, it's going to come down to Arcides and Celium. The Snake King himself. I'm just messing with you, Cel. Then as we bust through that, we got a hell of a lot of Call of Duty to be played on the rest of Saturday and Sunday. So we got one more on Saturday. It's the winners final. I think Toronto continue their perfect streak, and they beat NYSL 3-1. So that sets the stage for Sunday. Right here, we have the Florida Mutineers versus the Atlanta FaZe. I think Atlanta FaZe continue to stay strong. The Atlanta FaZe will pop off, and they'll win this one 3-1 over the Mutineers. But what a run for the Mutineers. I mean, absolutely incredible to finish where they do. Then we move on to the elimination final here. It's going to be FaZe, Subliners. I got to tell you guys, I like NYSL. I think what Hydra is doing is incredible. I think the leadership from Clay is there. He's going to be animated. He's going to be excited, and he's going to want to make things happen. I think the Subliners stay strong, and they win this match over the Atlanta FaZe 3-2, and that's going to give them momentum. And you take a look at this upset I have brewing in the final. In the best of 9, I think we're going to get our first one to go the distance. The Subliners are going to be hot because they got to play a match in the losers final. Toronto Ultra, they're going to be coming into the series cold. I think it's going to be a bloodbath in an absolutely incredible battle. And I think I crown the New York Subliners your Stage 3 major champions. I love this team. They got a lot of grit, a lot of fight, and they can battle through adversity. When things are going wrong on the map, they can make adjustments. Them and Florida are the two teams who do that best, in my opinion. I think the Subliners, they just come out on top. I just have faith in them, and I feel like it's so hard to repeat in this league. Atlanta FaZe didn't do it from Stage 1 to Stage 2. I don't think Toronto will do it from Stage 2 to Stage 3. New York Subliners, in my opinion, are your Stage 3 major champion, folks. I'm so excited for some Call of Duty this weekend. And now it's time to roll out. Let's go, baby. We're going to roll out a new segment. As I talked about it, guys, I want to get this show to cater towards fantasy Call of Duty. So let's do it. It's Fantasy Locks of the Week, and let's hop into it. As we look at these predictions, I'm going to choose some matches and players to look at, and I'll give them to you for today, and we'll kind of look through it from what we think goes on. As we take a peek, we're going to put together a 4-man fantasy roster, one player from each match, okay? That's how we're going to run it, and then we're going to give you guys our picks, which we already have, but we'll give you our locks. So from each match, we're going to put together an AR, SMG, and either another SMG or another AR to make a flex, okay? So the players we look at as we build around this series, I think the fantasy lock, my roster of Friday, I'm taking Insight as my AR from the Toronto Ultra. He's been an absolute stud. He's a menace on the map. He'll fry. He plays the OBJ incredibly well. That's my lock for one of my ARs. As I taper down to the next series, you look at LA Thieves and the New York Subliners, the rookie. Hydra will be incredible because my mistake, This isn't the Subliners, or sorry, this isn't the LA Thieves. This is going to be the Florida Mutineers as they took down LA 3-1 yesterday. So it's going to be the Mutineers versus the Subliners, and I still think Hydra pops off. So we got 1 AR, 1 SMG. You got to go with the veteran in this next series. You look at OpTic, we're picking up our next SMG, and that's going to be Scumpy. I think he plays incredible. He pops off. He's going to be pissed off, and he shows up big. Our final flex, I talked about the guy already. He's the flex for the team. He's the flex for my roster locks of the week. It's the man Priesta. Keep an eye on my fantasy roster this week. Insight as an AR, Hydra as an SMG, Scumpy as another SMG, and then you look down at the Minnesota Rocker and you take Priest as your flex. That's my 4-man lock roster of the week, and then we got to pick a team who's going to perform the best, pick up the biggest win, and play the best with the kill differential and pop off on the map, make it deep, make it the distance. The team that I have my eyes on, OpTic Chicago. I think they come out and impress, and that's what they do. Those are my fantasy locks for Friday. As we hop into Saturday, we got some big moments here. Some big games and a lot that can happen. I think you take a look at this first match of Empire versus OpTic. I take Shotzi as an SMG. Then I move down here to Florida versus Minnesota. I want Skies. He's my AR. He's the man I got to play on. So I'm taking Skies. All my picks are terrible. No, I'm just kidding. They're not terrible. But I lost this series, so it confused me what's the bracket's going to be. So this is actually going to be LA Thieves versus the Minnesota Rocker. And in that series, I want Hugh. I want him as another SMG, plain and simple. So I got Shotzi, Hugh. Then over here, I'm taking Skies as an AR from the Florida Mutineers. Then in this next series, I want Arcides as another AR. Got that locked and loaded. And then my team to take on this day, it's the Atlanta FaZe. Plain and simple, that's the fantasy locks for Saturday. And finally, as we get into it, Championship Sunday. And we're taking this match from Saturday as well into consideration because we had 5 on Saturday. We're making it so we have 4. So this day, this is going to be Florida and Atlanta FaZe. I want Simp as an SMG. Then up here, I want Bance as another SMG. Down here, I want Clayster. And in the finals, I want Hydra. And New York Subliners, they're obviously my team for Championship Sunday. That is my fantasy locks of the week and for the weekend in the Stage 3 Major. We're stoked for it, guys. I'm absolutely hype. And those are your fantasy locks. As we get into it, guys, we know that this is going. It's happening. We'll give you who's the best in the game as of right now. So let our boy Scumpy introduce it. As we're progressing and getting through the Stage 3 Major, who is the best in the game? This guy showed up big yesterday. Another rookie. He made pivotal plays like a veteran would in crucial spots on multiple maps to get him to advance and progress further on in the winner's bracket. Who's the best in the game? It's Neptune, the rookie from the Florida Mutineers, the SMG. He looks confident and comfortable on the map. I think he's going to help the Mutineers make a big run through the loser's bracket because I think they get bounced in the match that they have today, but I think he's going to be huge. I think Florida go down against the Subliners, but I think in that loser's bracket, Neptune makes a run to get them to face Atlanta FaZe all the way in elimination round 5. I believe is where they have them. Yes, elimination round 5 is where the Florida Mutineers will make it to, and a large part of that is because Neptune. He fries on the map, he runs routes, his IQ is off the charts, and I'll say it, the Florida Mutineers at the beginning of this season made an incredible decision to put this guy on the roster. Everybody Enjoy your Stage 3 Major. Have a lot of fun with it. Have as much fun as I am. I'm excited to get gambling and betting in the Call of Duty League. I'm making picks for this week. Let's just sit back, relax, and enjoy the Stage 3 Major. Guys, it's always a blast talking Call of Duty. Share me with your friends, family, Call of Duty fans, whoever you play the game with. The Rotation with ZHack on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and find me on Twitter at ZHack16. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to episode 14 of The Rotation with ZHack. And as always, we'll see you next time. Peace.